Right, and this is the video of the Gilera now. It's dark. I'm just going to go out in the yard because there's a patch under the bike and I just want to see if it's petrol or oil. So we're just going to have a look at it now in the dark before I strip it. You dip that out and smell it. See what that smells like to you.
Oily, a little bit.
What? Oil?
A little bit.
It's not petrol, is it?
No.
So he's got an oil leak underneath there. But I can't really see in there, but now the fairing on. I don't know if you can see up there. But anyway, we're going to start stripping it. So we've got the Gilera in now. Just going to get the mid panels off, top fairing off, tank off, seat off, back seat, back fairing, because you've got to take the subframe off as well to get into them. Get the belly pan off, see where the oil is leaking from, get the barrel and head off, drop the cradle out. Anyway, we'll get started. We'll get all the panels off. That's so far. Got the tank off, the seat off. You've got to take the back seat off to get into here and to get this back fairing off. We've got to get these panels off. The temperature gauge isn't working, so I'm going to have a look at the sender inside the tank as well. But we're going to get all the rest of the fairing off now. There's just a picture of some of the wiring. And all these, they should be hooked onto the side of the airbox. On here, on that side. But I've got airboxes upstairs, sorry. That's where you can see one gap there. And I think that's the hole for the other one, but I'll check with another airbox, battery case upstairs, and I'll put them relays in the right way. Bit wetness on these plugs down here, I don't know what this is off, or it might be petrol. The chain looks oily. I'm going to have to check the hole in there and there. All oil. Front spot seal could be gone as well, but we'll see that when we get it open. Right, so we're going to get all these panels off. It hasn't got the little fairing bracket either, what fits on the frame, what fits into this end one, so I'll put one of them on when I'm rebuilding it. It hasn't got one on that side neither. Goes into there, there'll be two holes under there if you can see them where it fits. There they are there. So I'll put a bracket on there for them as well. Just get this side off and the top panel. So that's most of the panels off. Just remember to put the screws back where they've come from, so you're not left with loads of screws afterwards. And I found this today when I was looking just before I took the panels off. The lad said there was a coolant leak. There's coolant there around that black sealant, but it's the power valve cap I was going to be talking about. I'm going to take that off and see what's behind there. But you can see coolant everywhere down there, on there. Coolant coming out that pipe along there, look. Going up, you can see the brown water, so I'll just trace that up. You can see it on the exhaust stud, the brown rusty water. So we'll trace where that's coming from. I can see wet up here as well. Right, we'll get this end cap off and see what's in it. And that's the screw out. I can't get it out. It's as if it's been made precisionally, because it's the exact size of that circle. So I'm going to have to wait till I get the barrel off to pop that off. So I'll just put the screw back in there so we won't lose it. We'll undo the exhaust where we're going now as well. Two at the front, there's a bracket there, a little clamp, which should be there. There's that wire there. Don't know what that is, but if it's alive I don't want that to be touching the frame, so I'll be taping that up. Don't know where that comes from actually. I don't want to clot on one of the wiring. So what that is, but I'll have to tape that end up anyway. So, and that's the back pipe off. We'll get the front pipe off. It's loosened there now. I'm just going to get this bracket off. Take it off from the bottom one. You see there, the nut's a bit too long. If we check if there's a hole in the exhaust. But we'll get this off now. Get the exhaust off. And I've got to take that radiator panel off, but the Allen key inside of it's rounded. Because I've got to check the radiator for leaks. But I can't do that, it's all built back up and running. So we'll get the exhaust off now anyway. And that's the exhaust off. You see where the nut's been worn through, but hasn't put hold on the exhaust. Just put the nut back in the bracket as well. Now we'll have a look at the exhaust. What I did notice today when I was revving it up, for the 40 seconds I tested it or whatever it was, you could hear this clicking. Hear like a tick. So I don't know if the cable's are frayed or what that is. But anyway, we'll have a look up the barrel. See what the piston's like. The power valve's in the wrong way. So when I turn the key, that power valve should be flush. I think the power valve's gone upside down. Yep, the power valve's in upside down. Should be flush up there when you turn the key. But I'm going to take the end cap. No, actually the end cap's already off, I think. So we'll have a look at the end cap as well and see if it's set on the hole what you set them with. And if it's set on the hole, the power valve's in the wrong way around. Yeah, no, there. That's the hole where you set them. So that power valve's fully open. But up the barrel, it's half shut. So there's one problem solved. Why it wouldn't go over 65,000 miles. 65,000 revs or 50 miles power. So that's that sorted. So that could even be the bang. You hear the clicking noise I was on about, listen. Yeah, just halfway through, listen. A little tick. So there's why the bike wouldn't go over 50 or 60 miles an hour. Now we're going to get the engine on, strip it down. With all the oil on there. It's oil leaking from somewhere. In there, I think it might be the gear shaft seal. But the oil's all brown and orange under there. I can get the phone in problem. But anyway, that's one of the problems sorted. Well, the main problem sorted, the power valve being in backwards. So that's what the banging could be. Hopefully it might not need a big end rebuild once we get the barrel off. So that banging could have been the piston hitting the power valve because it's been in wrong. Now we're going to be draining the fluids, the coolant and the oil. That's the wrong oil screw. We did think you needed a clutch casing, but there's some plugs snapped in this casing, so I've got to put a casing on there. But the clutch casing is alright, but I don't know exactly what he meant by this. He said it had a 10 milli threading or something like that, but we'll have a look now because we'll get this off and we'll get the oil out. Oh, and he wanted the oil pump checked as well. Whew. Check this. Wow. The oil pump, if you see on that little line there, that line has got to line up with that point above my finger, just at the beginning of it. If you put it at the end of the thick bit, you put more oil in. So I'll show you where it should be when the throttle's open. It should be there. with that line on the circle lining up with the front part of that big black bit. Now watch if I rev more throttle. That's how far the oil pump goes. So it's been getting triple oil. That's that. Right, we'll get the fluid, the engine oil and the coolant out. Now I'm going to get that oil sump plug out. See what's going on inside. It wasn't in very tight. The original bolt snapped in the other casing. Good. That's the other bolt, little one. I don't see how that would affect the engine really, to be honest. It's still stopping the oil coming out. Just need another casing on. But we'll have a look when I crack it open in case there's any cracks under there where that orange sealer is. And just with the oil pump being off that much, I'm going to check it, make sure this cable's routed properly, because there's the oil cable. There's the other bit of it, and then it's being pushed down there up with the splitter box. Your throttle cable goes into that, your carb cable comes off the other end, but on this oil cable should come up and around your square, big original square box, and back down and back in. So I'm going to see if it can be set just in case it's routed round, so when I do try to set it, I know that it's routed right or not. So what to do with that splitter box, just like a splitter box on a DTR, the black ones, just a grey one on these are just exactly like DTRs. DTR oil pump the lot. DTR CDI, DTR steel. Get good parts of these. Put it up here and zoomed in. Hopefully you may be able to see. You'll probably be able to see this dial moving as I adjust it. But you just adjust it by this cable. So if you can see it. And you've got the first bit. You still see the top. You've got this first bit. Just roll this all the way down. That's it there. Just roll all that all the way down, and then start turning this bit down to there. I want to adjust it from now, since we adjusted that little first bit what I've just showed you. And that's the oil set. See now, focus in. There's the little notch, which needs to line up with this end one, the fattest one on the end with a point on. So see, I go full throttle now. That's full throttle now, so I just need to adjust it to there. I'll have it there with the front bit of the thingy matching up with the line at the bottom. If you get it to there, I don't slip off the grip. I'll just zoom out actually. And that's it there in full throttle. So it's off a touch. That line, I have them set with the front of that black fat part. If you move your throttle more there, because it's not set, it'll go further to the black part and you're letting more oil in, but it's past the line on the circle, so it's letting in. But if you have it there, you're letting maximum oil in. If you have it at the beginning, like there, that's the standard setting. So you maybe have it in halfway. I don't need to set it properly. I know it'll set okay now with the cables routed alright. Fluids are out. Got taking these pipes off. Mission to work on these. Take the cradle out. Take the cradle out from under there if I can get into it. I might have to take the battery case off yet, I don't know. But anyway, we'll get this out. All I'm hoping is, I've had a few of these, you kind of get that out. But the trick is to loosen the engine mount bolts. There's one there. There's one on the gear stick side on the other side. 12mm. Might be an on key on these. loosen them, loosen the head one so the engine's slack, and then try that. Don't try it when everything's tight now, because that's tight in the engine and it'll not bang out. I know a lot of people who've had trouble. I've had to cut the swinging arm to get one out. So loosen all the engine mounts as well first, get the radiators off and pipes off and stuff like that. And on these, especially on the cradle up here, the Allen keys, you can get the Allen key bit with the socket in. You can get the Allen key bit with the socket in, but you can't get your ratchet into the end. It's the same with this down here. It's routed wrong all the way as the down here, but I kind of get the end of the ratchet in, so just get a wrench onto the Allen key there. Maybe able to see a bit of that side. Find out where it's at. There. Just get a spanner on there, keep that Allen key tight in there, and then just starting off with this spanner. Just because you see, you kind of get the ratchet into there, and there's no room here because of all these wires. So we'll just get this one off, and then get the bottom one off. So that's the bracket off the head off. I can't get it off because somebody's routed the wire what goes around the HT lead for the rev counter. They've routed it through there. So after the spark plug cap's off, but it's cable tied on, I'll have to wait and do that when I'm building it back up. Anyway, we're going to get the power valve cables off and the cylinder head off next. That's the radiator pipes and the 5 bolts out the head. So I get the rubber mallet. So that's the spark plug out. Brownish on the end, still a bit dark. That's the cylinder head off. Got some marks around it. Check it's flat and everything. See if we can see in the piston. I can't see here, but the torch can. My phone can reach in. No movement in the piston on the top. There's the power valve. Let's just turn the power valve over and see what happens. So we can just see it here. There's the clicking noise. Power valve's tapping the piston on the cycle on the way back. There's the power valve on the front. I don't know if that on the bottom of it looks like a rub. We'll just turn the key. That sharp edge has been clipping the piston. Or is it? I think I still heard the ticky noise. No, I didn't. Can't hear it there. If I move the piston over the power valve, listen for the ticky noise. So we know the power valve's hitting the piston. Yeah, right, listen for the ticky noise now. Yeah, I can hear it. So now we're going to take the power valve off and the cables, and that Allen key will lock the top in place. It has, so get that nut out now. Slapping these two 10mm nuts on the power valve cables, and they look newish. You've got to watch these because they snap. Don't slacken them from the 8mm bit, because they're known to snap in these casings. So anyway, we're going to slacken them 2 10s. Then once you've wound the 10mm nuts out, wind them all the way up to the top. Then wind these 2 all the way down into the casing. So just winding it down like that. Goes right into the bottom bit. Do it on the other side as well. And the cables are easy to get out then. And now we've slackened the cables there. You can get them off of the top motor. And this should just pull off with a pick. That's it popped off now. There's the cables in the back. Just slide them out. Just pop out. There's your power valve pulley. That one's all alright. It's got the grooves there at the bottom. The cable's out now. So I'll have to take them out anyway. And I'll measure them up, see if they're in the right way. This one's the left. This one should be the shortest. I'm going to take this one out. This one should be the longest. And that's the right one out, beside the left one. Always measure them from nipple to nipple. And they've been on right. You can see this is the longest one, that's the short one, left and right. But I'll show you how the power valve's been set wrong. That there, how that's been set. You can turn that there, watch. It turns the full power valve. Turns the power valve all the way around. Well, that there now I've got the power valve after I've just turned it. This black cap should be on now in this position. You see that there on the back? That fits over it. So if that was to fit over that there now, like that. So I've put that on there the proper way, that's the top hole it's set, it's fully open. Hope the exhaust should look a lot different to what it looked like before. And there's up the exhaust now, that's how it should be. That's how it should be. So that's been the problem. So when you start your bike, it drops back, and as you rev, it opens and opens till it gets to there, down to there till full throttle, and full throttle's there, fully open, and that's fully open. Like if you wanted to lock your power valve, you turn your key till it goes stops. That circle stops at that black thing, and you just push something through there to lock that still, and it locks your power valve wide open. But that's what the problem's been, that's just been on wrong. Here's just one, this last quick demonstration. So that's how it goes on now, normally, with that hole line in the top hole there, in the casing. You can see how that square's positioned. Somebody's had the square, they've had it that way, and then put the black cap on. I've got the end cap on the other side, the power valve set up right. I can't see down the bore, but I can see there as I'm looking at my phone. I'm just going to turn the power valve fully open there. That's what the power valve does when you start your right, it comes back into the barrel, and the more you rev it goes like that till it's fully open. I don't know if that barrel is missing the piston or not. Yeah, it is. You can feel down the barrel it's not hitting the piston. So we've got this off now, and it pushes air up into your petrol cap. And then the petrol cap pushes petrol out. But if this is slack or got a split in, it won't push petrol into your carb. Because I've had one like this before. This isn't the proper cable. They're normally tougher and better than that. And this is slack at both ends, not tightened on. So we'll have a look at that. We'll check that for splits. I'm gonna see if I can get the barrel out. I don't think it'll come out. I'm just gonna give it a try. Don't think there'd be enough room for it to squeeze out, to be honest. I have to go and take the power valve casing off. So that's the power valve end cap off on the other side. So we'll see if it lifts up without banging the frame. It might not. I might have to drop the subframe, but we'll only try. Perfect. Oh, back. And then inside his barrel. There's no gouges or nothing. The barrel's good. And then I'm going to get the piston out. Looking at the piston. Taz had a new one in recently, I think. We'll get that out anyway and we'll check the conrod. I haven't got rags in the bottom for the circuit to drop down because I'm stripping the wrench anyway to rebuild it. Right, we'll get that piston out of there and have a look at it. Have a look at the barrel and check the rod. They're a bit rattly. The new is the piston. It hasn't got an arrow on the front. So these two nipples where the rings attach around, this is the back of the piston. In the front. Front's got no damage on. Just wipe my hands. Down in for a close view. So there's the rod. Find the best way to get it. side to side movement. Tiny bit of up and down movement. I've seen them worse. So tomorrow we'll be stripping the engine, have a proper look at the crank, and ordering the parts what the engine needs, get it back together for them. Be done 2 days if the parts are quick. Alright, thanks for watching.